Hello. So today we're going to do pasta salad. So I'm just going to flip this around here. And as you can see, well, I'll turn the light on so you can really see, that is what's called a rapid boil. And that's what you should wait for before you add any of the pasta. Okay, so some people just start it where it's just bubbling a little bit, and then pasta will get sticky. We have to make sure it's at a rapid boil. So I am using rotini today for my pasta salad. So I'm going to pour one in. And the second one in. I'm just going to grab a spoon here. Just going to give it a twirl. All right. And then it says here that we're going to boil it for 7 minutes for al dente. Maybe a little longer because the pasta salad will have it a little longer, okay? So it's 12:09 now, and using our elapsed time skills that we learned from our last lesson, all right, we'll be done at 16 after or 17 after, okay? So we'll go with 17 after just to make sure we have the full 7 minutes plus a little more. So what am I going to add? I'm going to add some cucumber, and I'm going to add some peppers, and then I'm also going to add some cheese. And then for the top, you can go with mayonnaise or you can go with an Italian dressing. I'm going to do an Italian dressing today. So I am going to go and make sure that I cut these vegetables up. I'm going to wash them off, and then I am going to cut them up. So let me see if I can kind of prop this up here. And the first thing I'm going to do is wash everything off. Oh, here's the cucumber, and I've washed my hands before I did the pasta. Like that. And the pepper. So I'm just using 2 different colored peppers just for, eye's sake, they call it aesthetics. Make sure it looks a little prettier, okay? And there is a lot of nutrients in the skin. Some people like all the skin off. I'm gonna do it half, so watch. So, as you can see, I kind of did it in a little pattern here. That way, when I go, cut the end off here. Once again, and it just has a quick little design on it, all right? So, just a simple thing to make it a little more pleasing to the eye, as they say. Cut up this cucumber in pretty thin slices. Nobody likes really thick cucumbers in there. So I don't know if I cut that one a little too thick, so I'm going to cut that one in half. And remember we talked about before, we want to make sure you have sharp knives, all right? If you have a dull knife, it may slip, and that's when cuts happen, all right? Good. So now I've cut that up, and I'm just going to give the pasta a quick stir over here. Fantastic. All right, and now I'm back. We'll put those off to the side. And now I'm going to cut my pepper. All right, these have seeds on them, right? So I cut around. And then what you also want to do is, the rib part here isn't the best. So you just want to carefully cut that away, okay? And it kind of comes off really easily. So I'm just going to make sure they're all off here. And when you cut them, you want to make sure that they're in bite-sized pieces or even smaller than bite-sized pieces, okay? So as you can see here, there they are in the bite-sized pieces. I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to mix it all together anyway. All right. So you want to take your time. I've been cooking for a long, long time. All right. So I'm used to cutting up vegetables and things like that. And as you can see, I'm starting to sweat a little bit because it's a hot day, and that's why I'm doing this pasta salad. A cold meal on a hot day just makes you feel a little better. There we go. And now the green pepper. And the same thing, right? So I got the seeds. We want to leave those behind. Make sure the ribs of it are cut off. And the pasta, by the way, I used a 12-ounce package of pasta, all right? That's why I used 2, because usually a pound of pasta, or 16 ounces, right? We learned that at Next Step, that 16 ounces is a pound. Probably not enough for my family for just 12. And plus, if you have leftovers, all right, then you'll be able to have some during our Next Step lunches, our virtual lunches. It's pretty easy to grab it and go. All right, there's one more here. Good. And now I'm going to cut up the block of cheese here. So I like sharp cheddar. So I actually have a fancy cheese cutter here. So if you have one, great. I can just kind of show you quickly. If you want to go like this. I'm just going to stir the pasta here. You want to stir it every couple of minutes or so. Okay? Excellent. All right. So I can cut a few. And then, all right. And the same thing with the cheese. You want it kind of bite-sized, right? So people don't have to cut during that. All right. If you don't have one of these, it's the same thing. Right? You can kind of cut through with the knife. And then just, cheese is really easy to cut. So just wanted to kind of show you a couple of different ways to do that. All right. So one more quick stir here. Excellent. All right. This is a strainer or a colander. I'm going to start getting that ready. Okay. Because as you can see, we're getting pretty close to the time, right? It just turned 12:16. We're going to give it one more minute here. So as you can see, we kind of have the bite-sized pieces of cheese, the cucumbers. So this one's a little thick, so I'm just going to kind of cut it in half, all right? And you could do that as well. I'm also going to get a bowl. So eventually, we're going to do that, okay? So now I have a big bowl that I can put this in. So just a quick tip, it's better to have a bowl that's a little too big than a little too small. You don't want it spilling over the top, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to end up testing to see if this pasta is ready, okay? So I'm going to do, so you can take, see how I got one here? Kind of put it in there. You want to make sure it's cool. And just, you can kind of feel it too. See how it's kind of squishy? There's a little bite to it. I'm going to let it go just a little bit longer, okay? And so even though it says 17 and that's the time we said we were going to dump it, you test it. Test it out. And if it's not your desired softness, then let it cook a little bit longer, okay? So we're going to keep on doing that. Oh. Now, if this happens where it's really bubbling up, you can go like this, or you can even move it off the pot, off the burner for a second. I turned it down, all right? Then you can kind of put it back on, because the last thing you want is for it to bubble over and kind of get on your stove and really mess up your stove. It takes a while to clean that up, all right? That being said, I'll be able to turn it off. Do you see how I kind of reached around? This steam here can be pretty hot as well. All right, so I'm going to flip this around. Oop, caught the phone. All right, so I'm going to take this, and remember when you pour, we're going to pour it away from us. All right. Excellent. All right, and never put the stove, put the pot. All right, that was the hot burner over here. This is a cool one. You never want to put an empty pot on a hot burner. That'll ruin the pans, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cool off this pasta, okay? Just going to let it rest there for a second. Okay. I'll move it around, and I can use the spoon here. We don't want to cook the vegetables. when we throw it in, all right? So I'm cooling off the pasta. It's getting pretty cool with the cold water, all right? Excellent. So I'm going to bring the bowl over here. And what I'm going to do is give a quick shake. Pour the pasta into there. I'm actually going to do half of the pasta. Then I can throw in half the veggies. Okay. So this is a little stuck. So I'm going to just grab one of these. I have a gripper. Awesome. And they all have these safety seals, so just give me a second here while I try to grip it and do that. All right. Oh, I think I got it. All right, I got the safety seal off. Okay, now I want to shake it up, and then I can add some of it now. Good. Now I can add the rest. There. Some more of the veggies, and a little more of the dressing. Okay? And now you want it to cool, all right? So you want to put it in the fridge for about an hour at least. So you want, this is a good thing you can do before, and then before you serve it, all right, add a little bit more of the dressing, all right? We're gonna mix this up, and you can add any vegetables you want. You can add grape tomatoes I've seen in there. If you're gonna have something like asparagus, you wanna cook them first, all right? And then have that cool as well. So on this hot day, enjoy that cold pasta salad.